Hello, fellow stakeholders. I am Twjm, the team leader for Team Twjm. And in this video, me and my fellow team members, which consists of Mizan, Julia, and Yishen, will be conducting our stakeholder presentation, where we will be concluding and summarizing our project contents and results. So there will be two parts to this presentation. The first part is the internal presentation for the analytics manager, which consists of background, project plan, and the closing remarks of our project. And this will be presented by me and Julia. The second part will be the guided dashboard walkthrough for our client, in which Jennifer and Mizan will be giving out a simple demonstration on the functionalities and features of our Power BI dashboard and how it could solve some of the problems that our client is facing. So we will start out with a brief description of the problem that our client, the ETW Corporation Limited finance team, is facing. So the current practices of the finance team with regards to their financial management involves the sharing and distribution of spreadsheets containing sensitive financial information via Outlook, which could prove to be extremely risky, not secure, and just plain inefficient. There is also the risk that several versions or duplicates of these spreadsheets could also exist at any time, making it all the more difficult for the team to organize and utilize the correct file. Besides, reproducibility and standardization of these sensitive data is often not possible. So the part of the business that has been affected is the finance team, as mentioned earlier, as they are currently facing issues with regards to their risky and rather unorganized financial management, especially with their sharing and distribution of sensitive financial information via Outlook and the problems with reproducibility and standardization, as mentioned earlier. So to help solve the issue that the finance team had been facing, we had proposed to deliver a financial performance Power BI dashboard prototype that's been designed and developed specifically for the finance team, and also a simple tutorial on how to operate the dashboard. So this prototype will utilize state-of-the-art data engineering pipelines to collect and aggregate key accounting data. The dashboard prototype will consist of 3 different tabs showing data, latest metrics, and visuals. The first being the financial performance tab with the net profit, revenue and cost over time, and also the gross and net profit margin. The cash movements tab with cash movements, opening and closing balances over time, alongside the accounts receivables and payables table, and finally a simple invoice tab with a company slicer and a table showing the invoices. So right here we have the estimated and final time frame and budget for our project. Our estimated time frame to complete the project is 31.5 days with a budget of 22,550 ringgit. However, after receiving the project updates from the analytics manager with regards to the changes that has been requested by the finance team, the time frame and budget for our project has been reduced to just 28.5 days and 20,300 ringgit for the budget. And this is largely due to the fact that majority of the tasks under the dashboarding section had taken a shorter duration to be completed, all thanks to the effective collaboration and teamwork among the team. So right now, I'll be passing on to Julia to explain some of the key discrepancies that we have developed in our project.
Okay, thank you, Twjm. So during the project undertaking, there were a few significant discrepancies, especially from the part 2.3 to 2.5 of the MS project planning phase. So upon solving the over allocation issue, we first removed business analyst from the task complete phase estimate, and we then removed tester from the task review outputs and added BA for set task. However, we had realized that the project cost and duration can be reduced slightly by removing the previously assigned business analyst, or at the same time not creating any more over allocation issues. So because of this, we decided to remove this BA from the task, and we then added a new task titled Create Visual for Invoice upon receiving the project update after submitting our initial stand-up, and proceeded to assign analyst programmer to this task. Upon working tirelessly on the task under COD dashboarding phase, we have managed to reduce the duration and budget from 12 to 9 days and 9,850 to 8,500 respectively. So for more information with regards to the project discrepancy, kindly refer to the memo that we have prepared, as most of the analyst explanation and all of the printout can all be found there for your reference. And we had also encountered some issue with regards to the additional work that had been requested by the finance team. In the project update, they have requested for an additional of 4 tasks to be completed. After some meetings and consultation, however, we have decided to only just stick to 1 task, which is to create an additional invoice tab. The reason why we have decided to select this task is because this is the task out of the 4 tasks which is most possible to be completed, as the requirement for this task is fairly similar to the requirement and the structure for the financial performance and cash movement tab. And the reason for not accepting more or some of the other tasks is largely because of the tight deadline and requirements that are beyond our project scope. Additionally, these requests are rather abrupt and as a result had caused some frustration and confusion in the team. So the conclusion is that the team has managed to complete our project on time while also reducing the cost of the project. During the course of our project undertaking, we have learned to be more aware of resource allocation so that over allocation issue can be easily identified and solved at the earliest possible. We have also learned to be more careful with the units and digit use, especially in the part where we have to assign different rates for different resources under the resource sheet. As this is not the only assignment that we need to focus on, we have also learned to further improve each of our time management skill. Lastly, we have also agreed as a team to further improve and brush up our knowledge and expertise on Power BI and dashboarding design so that we can complete any further assignment that requires Power BI with minimum fuss and confusion. And after discussion, we have come up with two methods that could be used to further speed up the process of the project. The first one would be to perform crashing, which essentially is to shorten the duration of the project by increasing the amount of resource so that certain tasks would take lesser amount of time to be completed. And this would also result in a shorter project duration, but will also mean an increase in the project budget. The another one would be to perform fast tracking, which is a technique in which the tasks are carried out in parallel rather than sequentially according to the original schedule. And now I will pass to Jennifer for the client presentation.
Yep, thank you, Julia. Okay, so now we will demonstrate to you on how to use the dashboard prototype that we have created via Power BI. Okay, so here we will have three separate dashboarding tabs. One to show the financial performance, another for the cash movement or cash position, and another to show the invoice tab. So to start off, for the financial performance tab, we have the latest metrics on the left and right-hand side of the dashboard. So on the left-hand side, you are able to see the net profit and total cost for September 2021, which is the latest numbers that we have on our site. And on the right-hand side, you are able to see the gross and net profit margin for the same month and year. And in the middle of the tab, you are able to see three charts, one for the net profit, another for revenue, and lastly for cost. That shows the whole timeline of all the data available. So there is a date slicer on top. It is useful if you want to observe figures for a specific period of time. You just need to click on either the start or the end, depending on what time frame you would like to see, and you just have to drag it across the slicer. For the two line charts below, showing the revenue and cost over time, you can move your cursor over the chart to see the numbers for a specific date that you would like to look at. Moving on to the next tab, which is the cash movement tab. So on the top row, you will have the latest metrics for September 2021 for total opening and closing balances for the month and the total cash received and cash spent. Then you have the latest figures for the accounts receivable and payables, but that would be for the month of August 2021 instead, since that is the latest data that we've obtained based on the invoice list given. And on the main part, on the left-hand side, you will have two tables, one to show the accounts receivable and another to show the accounts payable. You are able to see the company name, the invoice number, the amount due in red, the amount paid in green, as well as the invoice date. And on the right-hand side, you will have two charts. On the top will be the opening and closing balances, and the bottom, you would be able to see the cash received and cash spent. So like previously, you can just move your cursor around the chart to see the figures for a particular date. So before I move on to the final tab, I will let you know on how to refresh the pages for new numbers. So firstly, you would just have to input the new rows of data into the original CSV file used for the dashboard. Then you just save the file, and then you would have to click refresh on the Power BI ribbon. So if the data changes, that means you've successfully uploaded the data. So if the error occurs, so you just have to click transform data, and then you click on data source settings. Then you click on new source, and you select the updated CSV file that you've saved previously. Then you just have to click OK, and then you click refresh preview. And once the updates can be seen, you just have to click close and apply, and then you are done. So that will be all from me. I will pass the time to Mizan to explain the rest.
Okay, thank you very much, Jennifer. So moving on to the final tab, which is an invoice tab. And this is a very basic tab, just shows both the accounts receivables and accounts payables for the company. These two tables are a carbon copy essentially of the CSV file given. They mimic them both very similarly. They all have the same character. They both have the same columns. So you have contact names, due dates, invoice amount due, invoice number, and all of these columns. And why we've made these two tables is because we wanted to make the job for the manager easier, as it will be a bit tedious to go through the CSV file and go through each column or row. So we've made these two tables to enable the managers to see the data a bit easier. So all you have to do is just click on a company name, and you will see from this side, which is the accounts receivable, how much the company owes this corporation, and the invoice number, and how much they have paid so far. And obviously you have a few more columns here, which just shows the totals, the type, and the date features over here. And then moving on to the accounts payable, it works the same way. You have the company slicer. You can just click on the company name, and it will show you all the information. So obviously, because this is accounts payable, this shows the amount that our company owes to ABC Furniture, for example. And you can see this is the amount due, this amount that we've paid so far. And of course, like the table before this, we have some more features over here that coincide with date. And you have the invoice number, and the total here as well, and the status. So that's pretty much it with the invoice tab, and we'll be moving back to the presentation to do a short pitch. Okay, so this short pitch is just to show that or why this corporation should take my team and I to tackle further assignments and projects. So I would say that our team managed to build very strong chemistry amongst each other. We managed to complete the task on schedule and under budget as well, which is quite good, even though we had other assignments and commitments outside of this project. And overall, with our experience through Power BI and MS Project, we have managed to gain a lot of knowledge and skills from it. So we have some recommendations of tabs that can be a benefit to the company later on. So for example, we have the supplier risk assessment tab, which just shows the efficiency and reliability of some suppliers. We have, next up, we have the inventory analysis tab, which just shows all the inventory data for the manager, so that the manager can keep track of inventory and show the inventory turnover rates. Next up, we have the client satisfaction tab, which just shows the overall review of clients on the company performance, so whether they're satisfied or not. Next up, we have the budgeting tab, which once again just shows the overall budget data to the manager and helps the manager make more calculated decisions for the company. Next up, we have the regional performance tab, which just shows performance of sales across some regions. So therefore, the manager could focus some more resources on a specific region to boost sales, for example. Next up, we have the HR Insight tab, which just shows the overall morale of employees so that we can track down employee morale and find ways on how to improve them if they are low, and hence improve their experience in the company and hopefully improve performance for the company itself. So that is about it for all the extra tabs that we have that we can offer to the company. And that concludes our presentation as well. Hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you very much for listening.